Welcome to Anecdotes for Success with Matt and Paul. Storytelling is an art form, emphasizing the value and learning that is created through personal experience. Our purpose is to share these stories and experiences with the listener. Everyone has a powerful testimony. Let's use them to level up to our best life with truth, meaning, trade-offs, and perspective.
Well, we pinned each other down again finally.
Yeah.
It's been tough, but that's part of the fun. I mean, until we have a studio where we're flying people in, which may or may not ever happen. Uh, there's other priorities, and I don't mean that with any disrespect to this podcast, but
Well, life's funny. Life's full of things, right? And
yeah.
you're busy and I'm busy and but so is Joe Rogan, but yeah, he finds his 4 hours twice a week somehow, right?
Well, yeah, I was gonna bring that up. Makes it work. So we're getting better.
I bet it's that $100 million a year or whatever, that $100 million. I think he's on his second $100 million contract or more. Maybe he's up to $200 million on this one, something insane. That probably helps him carve out some time.
You know, He's amazing. I listen. I don't listen to every episode. I have to want interest in the person.
Me too.
It
I
doesn't mean I
used
like
to.
them or not.
I
Yeah,
used to listen to everyone. Now it has to be something I find interesting as well. The person.
you can always tell the hate he gets because people don't listen to him. Because if you listen to him, how
He's
can a reasonable human being not understand he's just talking?
he's right, and just asking. It's what I always get too, and I won't name the people, but they'll be like, "Oh, you like Joe Rogan?" And
Yeah.
then the number one thing I always say is, "Yeah, have you ever listened to him or watched his podcast?" And I always hear, "No, but I saw or I read," and I'm like, "Okay." But the other thing is, it's not Joe Rogan I like, although I do like Joe Rogan. It's
Right.
his guests that I like. It's I like interesting people. It's not well, I don't care what Joe Rogan's opinions are on most things. And he'd be the first one to say I'm right about that. He
Yeah.
said that you shouldn't listen to me. I'm not there to listen to Joe Rogan. I'm there to listen to whoever his very interesting guest is. That's what's important to me. And so it's like it's not even that I'm a fan of Joe Rogan. I'm a fan of the people he has on his podcast and the interesting conversations they have.
I've learned so much, or at least opened my eyes to so much.
Me too.
I told people I listened to the Donald Trump one. They're like, "Why'd you do that?" I don't know. Listening to somebody talk for 3 hours?
Yeah. Listening to someone who is running for president, who's gonna can't hide behind 30-second sound bites, right? You're gonna dive deep in a 3 hour conversation, right? You're gonna see who people are. Like I think every politician who's running for a significant office should be put under that type of microscope. I don't care who you are, every one of them. I want to hear when you tell me that your new policy for the border or for abortion or for that's not well, that's not federal, that's state, obviously, but or for the economy, whatever it is, doesn't matter what it is. If you tell me you have a policy, I want you to tell me what it is, and then I want to hear you defend the disadvantages it'll have, because it's going to have disadvantages. Everything, it's going to have trade-offs, right, Paul? Everything has a trade-off. So every policy, no matter whether I agree with it or not, is going to have trade-offs. I want that politician to have to sit for hours and discuss, peel that onion back and go, yes, it sounds so good that we're going to do X, right? But what about the unintended consequences of X? What about is it going to affect, the economy in this way or that way, or safety or whatever it happens to be, or freedoms or whatever? Like, I want to hear you have to explain yourself more than just this. We're going to do this, and everything's going to be great because of it. It's not true. We need to hear what the downsides are and that you've thought them through, and nothing's going to be perfect, and I want you to recognize that as well. So that's why those are so important to me.
No more I'm right, you're wrong. Like maybe there's, yin and yang and everything, but I think it's the way of the future. I
Me
think
too.
people are going,
Me too.
they're not going to be able to skirt it anymore.
Nope, I agree.
Well, all right. This week's topic, we could have kept going with that
And
actually, but I think, you have a business, things are going well. Where's the money coming from? How do you invest? Had all these topics. How do you build a good team?
it's a great question, right? And let's understand one thing too, that until the robots fully take over, our teams are everything, right? Yeah, I love my spreadsheets and my numbers and all that kind of stuff, and they're very important in my business, but it's still people that make it run, right? And building that good team is so important you want to hit those numbers and you want to hit those goals. You better have a good team together, in order to do so. And, I've certainly been up and down in my ability to build good teams, but the results of having a good team versus not having as good a team are clear, and that it's not unique to my business or your business. It's everywhere, right? And or not even just business, right? A school system, a non-for-profit, whatever it happens to be, a team. It's all people. So it's a great question. I mean, what do you think on it?
Well, I don't like using words like loyalty and serving. I like using words like vulnerability, transparent, honest, uh, open-mindedness, because I feel, I mean, even as a head coach or a teacher and now business owner, uh, it's okay for someone in your team. I mean, I guess I could say under someone's got to lead it, right? It's okay for them to know something you don't know and for you to act on it and give them credit for it. A player, a student, an employee. But at the same time, that has to go both ways. Sometimes you're not interested necessarily in an opinion. There's just something that has to move forward because there's a greater goal.
Yeah,
I'm not worried
military.
about your, yeah,
I
I'm
was
not
doing
worried about,
military.
yeah, I'm not worried about your grade. I'm worried about graduation. I'm not worried about your batting average. I'm worried about winning. I'm not worried about how many tips you had this week or how many hours you had. I'm worried about growing the business so all those exponentially grow for you.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think that's the hardest part because when you build a team, obviously it's your vision. You hope it's everybody else's vision, but they have to buy in and still feel they have to buy in and still feel they can be led and still feel their opinion matters.
Yeah, Paul, you just mentioned the word that was on the tip of my tongue, buy-in. Like, you need people bought in. And that's a real thing, right? I mean, that's just not some sort of buzzword. That's a real thing. And how do you get people to buy in, particularly like let me give you my thought on this, and I definitely want to hear yours because of certainly from this coaching perspective, but also business perspective. I find it, and I used to coach basketball back in the day, and when we'd have tryouts, right, and people wanted to
Right.
play, and you talk about a professional baseball team or basketball team or football team, doesn't matter, or a high school team. I think it's so much easier to get buy-in because people want to be there. It's how they enjoy themselves. It's their identity in a lot of ways. Doesn't mean it's easy, but I'll tell you, it's a lot easier. Try getting buy-in on a business when people don't look at it as long term, right? Or it's very transitional. Um, there's the quick service restaurant industry is a great example. If I don't like what I do at Dunkin', I'll go to McDonald's, I'll go to Burger King. I can hop all over the place. I can't hop all over the place on the varsity softball team. There's one team, and I'm going to listen to coach because if I don't, I'm not on the team or I don't get to play, which is my goal, right?
Right.
But what if I can just go teach at seven other school districts if I don't like it here, or sell cars at 20 other car dealerships if I don't like it here. How do you get to me, this is the ultimate question. How do I get buy-in for how do I get people to buy in when I'm not the only game in town? That's the hard part.
It is. And the sad thing, what's worse, like, okay, varsity softball or us teachers, once we get so many years in and you have that pension coming, if you don't buy in because you don't have a good team around you and leaders, then it's the complete opposite of buying in. You just go through the motions. Uh, I'd like to say the one benefit a business has, if an employee doesn't buy in and moves on, fine, you got rid of them. The noise is gone, and now you hire someone else, which takes time and resources and money away from your vision. But maybe you're going to find that next person that buys in. On a team or a school, if they don't buy in, you're kind of stuck with them. Now it's a whole nother problem, you know?
Hmm.
And so I guess let's stick with buy-in. Like, how do you get somebody to buy in? Whether it's someone that could easily transition to another job, or whether that's disheartened teacher, athlete, or an employee, because it doesn't have to just be a school where somebody's just going through the motions. It
No,
could be
no, it's all
it could
over
be
the
a
place.
corporation. It could even be your store where they're doing nothing wrong. They're just not giving their best.
God, Paul, it could be your family life, right? Your
Yeah,
kids at home, your relationship. I mean,
marriage. Yeah.
exactly. It could be all sorts of things. So I think the obvious ones in our world is usually business and that kind of thing. So we always kind of gravitate that way. But I think it starts with number one, a culture and you mentioned vision and the leader's ability to communicate that vision and and what that means to the people who are part of that team, right? Because if I'm the leader, my vision is this, but I can't communicate it, or I don't communicate it in a way that shows you as one of my team members how it benefits you, right? Then I don't think there's much hope to that. And so then we throw out the word culture all the time. It's thrown out all the time, but that's another real thing. And to me, that culture is, it's about accountability for everyone. It's about what the big picture is. It's about standards, uncompromising standards day to day and what we're going to do and how we're going to do it and why that's going to get us to our long-term goal. There's certainly a large element of empathy and that goes involved because life does happen and things do happen. And how do I drive people towards a vision while at the same time understanding that they're human and go through human problems? And how do we incorporate that so that we're not treating everyone like robots? Being fair, but not necessarily, I always hear everyone needs to be treated equal. Well, that's not necessarily true. People respond to different things different ways, right, Paul? And you know that as a coach better than anyone. I think people need to be treated fairly, definitely. But what's gonna get you to do the extra work that needs to be done to be the best version of you, and what's gonna get me to do it might not probably aren't the same things. So if I use the same strategies so that I can always say we're doing things equally, well, I don't think we're gonna get the result we want either. So there's a lot to it.
One saying I like telling people when I first meet them, employee, student, player, how you do anything is how you do everything.
Hmm.
And I go about how, paying attention to the little things is going to build foundational success for greater things. And they all nod their head, hey, that's fantastic. Then I have the kid that shows up late for 3 days of practice, and I repeat that statement. And based on the eye roll or lack of it, now you know they've bought in or not. Because I told them all about that. The person that starts gossip, the student that misses 3 assignments and have excuses. And I start my years with that saying, and every time there's adversity, I say the same thing. And it's all I say. I don't have to say anything else. And you can tell if they're a victim or not or buying in based on that. It's like, wow, you're right, Mr. Richmond. I won't do that again. Or it's the eye roll and it's like, yeah, but yeah, but yeah, but
Yeah,
I call it the Fred Flintstone syndrome. Uh,
I
yeah,
love
but
it.
yeah, but yeah, but Have you ever read the book The Fred Factor by Mark Sanborn?
No.
It was given to me. I was supposed to pass it on, so I'm going to pass it on to you. There's
Good.
like notes from five other people in the book.
Really interesting.
So first I
I
have to
want it.
find it.
I
So
want it.
it's called How Passion in Your Work and Life Can Turn the Ordinary into the Extraordinary.
Mm,
And it's just a quick beginning. It's about a guy that works for the post office, and he just takes every single thing he does to
just
to the limit. And he goes about the best he wants to have the best customer service. He doesn't want to leave a letter behind. He doesn't want anything to happen. And the whole point is, if you do that, you're going to have other opportunities come your way. Like, so you go, I want to circle back to transitioning in the fast food industry. Oh, if I don't like Burger King, I'll go to Wendy's. Oh, if I don't like,
yeah.
well, even if you never run out of stores, you're never going to be better than that frontline worker.
Yeah.
But if you stick at one of those places and do everything to the best of your ability, you might manage three of them. You might
You might
own
own
one.
them. Right,
You might you might meet somebody at the front desk instead of snarling at them, meeting them that's a business owner that takes you into HR of a whole other company.
yeah. There's a million stories like that, right?
Yeah.
Of those people who started at the bottom and find themselves CEO, owner, million of them. And they're not accidents, Paul. They're just what you said. They're doing the right things consistently every time over time, right? That's you want the magic, right? You want the answer, you want the secret recipe. There it is, right? And it's not that your rich uncle gave it to you when they passed away, or you won the lottery, or in fact, those are bad strategies because if you don't have the right skills, those are going to lead to their own devastating consequences as well. So I got to read the book, but I think I know this how the story plays
Yeah,
out.
you'll even if
You
you
know,
don't, you understand it, but I'll pass it along anyways.
no, I'm going
Maybe
to read
there's
it. Yeah,
and there might be someone you can pass it along to.
I will.
The funny thing is every age of your life should be the most exciting time of your life. Like, I have so many friends winding down and teaching, and they're like, "Oh, you got a retirement plan with your new business." And I'm like, "You have no, I'm not gonna stop teaching and sit on this. We've already got other plans,
Yeah.
right?" Uh, every single person I meet at the tap house potentially can be another business connection or a network of
Yep. Yep.
something.
Yeah.
And it's never been more exciting. I don't understand why people get to a certain point of life. And I mean, we've kind of veered a little from
That's
building a
all right.
team, but we'll get back to it. How you're gonna stop? Like, there's no reason to like who says stop?
Yeah, I don't know. It's sad. It's one of the saddest things to me. It's just come back to that whole. You've got one life. You've got one go around here, and the goal is to get out, not have to do anything. And I don't get it. I don't get it. And it doesn't that it leaves a hole in people, and then they fill it. It's that hole's got to be filled, and then it gets filled oftentimes, not always, but with some real, is it alcohol? Is it other vices? Let's just call them. I don't know. It gets filled somehow. Much I do know, but how is another thing. And then to think that there you are on your deathbed, or and it's like, what'd you accomplish? Well, I got to retire and then do nothing. And I don't think that's not the list. That's not
No,
those aren't the memories I plan to have,
no.
or the legacy I plan to leave.
So as we circle back
Yeah.
around to building a team, I mean, well, we went into a lot of what we see and want. So how important is it that your team feels the same way you do?
I think that go back to the word buy-in. I think you've got to get everyone pulling in the same direction on the same page for the goals. And I also think limiting the number of goals is important. You can't have 75 goals. You've got to have a reasonable number of goals. I don't know if it's three, it's five. Our 2025 planning meeting we had about a month ago, and we have three main goals for this 2025 year. And then within those goals, there's layers and there's areas of activation that are going to get to that goal, those goals, right? Things that are going to help us accomplish those goals. But we had to have three overarching goals that everyone believed in. Everyone agrees that these things are the important things for us this year. And then we get to dive in on how are we going to get to those goals? What are the layers within those goals? Is it better training? Is it better compensation plans, right? If you know, I'm just making things up, throwing things out there, but you get the point. How do we get to these goals? And then we build momentum, and now you've got the goals and you've got the activations underneath them, and the people, the team all sees where they fit into that and how it can make their lives easier, make their lives more productive, make their lives more profitable, let's call it, make it more enjoyable, and that they're a part of it, and they're a key part of it. And the understanding the why behind it, right? I always want people to understand, not just the old school do it because I said so method. It's we're doing it because of this. And then you get people going, oh, that makes sense. I get it. Or you might even have people go, oh, but wouldn't it be better to do that? And that's what I want out of my people as well. I want them thinking the best ideas come from my frontline people, Paul. They don't come from me. You know what I mean? They come from the people dealing day in and day out every day with the front lines of the business. That's where the ideas come from. Not me and my little think tank here where I'm just such a smart genius and so good that it's not true. I mean, you know me, it's not true.
No.
What's true is giving people the autonomy and the access to come up with ideas and taking them seriously when they know what the goals are and why they exist. That's what moves the ball forward in my world.
Yeah. So, I mean, buying in at the end of the day is about buying into their own growth because they shouldn't, no team member should stay in the same spot.
No, Paul,
Ever.
I want my team members growing. I want that. Paul, this is no lie. I've told employees of mine many times over the years, that is a great opportunity. If you don't take it, I'm going to, I'll fire you. I'm joking, of course.
Right.
But I'm like, that is a step in your journey to have a better future, a better life, or whatever. I can't offer you that today, maybe not ever. So for you, now, is it going to make my life easier or better? No, it's going to hurt me. It's going to hurt me in a way. But that's my philosophy. That's what's best. And I always think if I do what's best by people, then I will win. And I hope I never change that attitude. I don't think I will. But sometimes I can't offer opportunities other people can. But I want my people go. And word gets out, Paul.
Yep.
Did you hear so-and-so left and why? Oh, well, I heard she was, wavering whether she was going to take the opportunity or not. Oh, no, Matt talked to her and said she needed to go. It was too good to pass up. And then people go, well, that's the kind of person I want to work for. So Matt cares about us. Matt cares about me. Matt cares about if Matt cares about her future, he must care about my future. And then that's culture.
I love it. We're going to end with that. Building a team, buying in culture. I'm just going to edit it to that.
It's true.
Hey, thanks, Matt.
Yeah, thanks.